Kicking off World Cup. Do we not have the graphic? Do we do it? Did I miss it? Oh, it's going to happen right now. Okay, we have a new. I decided to. We're changing. We have it, right? The new graphic for the show for the next month and a half. Oh, we don't have it. We don't have it yet. I decided to rename our show. It's going to be called Cup and Adams the next 5 weeks. We have, of course, where is this? This helmet right here to kick off the World Cup with the king of all things football. We have Rebecca Lowe, who is an absolute legend. I believe that she's hosting the World Cup for the very first time. She's dabbled in World Cup coverage, of course, but what an amazing guest to have to kick everything off as we kick off and count down to the World Cup. We also have Will Howard. Will Howard, Steelers quarterback, one of my faves from last year's draft class. What is going on? He's golfing. He's fighting for the number 2 spot behind Aaron Rodgers. Cannot wait to talk to Will. Rebecca Lowe on the show. Last week we had Ronda Rousey and Clint Dempsey, and we had, I'm trying to think of, we've had Landon on Hamilton. We've had a little bit of everybody as we count down to the World Cup. I thought the latest was that I approved a graphic and we were rolling out with it today. We're not. Because it was, let's wait, and then it was, what do you think of this?
Last I heard was we were going to do it a little bit closer to World Cup.
Okay,
I thought where we landed.
We're not finalized.
Yeah.
I decided to rename the show Cup and Adams, at least until it's over in France, in those beautiful Statue of Liberty aways, raise the trophy. Because honestly, Mbappe needs it. Mbappe having to sit there and watch PSG win back-to-back after he bounces, after he leaves. Then, allegedly, his girlfriend was with Benito at a concert. She was in the casita on stage. So Mbappe needs this win more than anybody. PSG, are they a dynasty? We'll have all sorts of questions. Of course, Rebecca covers Premier League. So I don't know if she thought this is how it was going to go with Arsenal, who looked like they were just less prepared, less urgent, one shot on goal in like a million minutes. Not great. Not a very, eye test-wise for me, the casual fan was like, what is this? What is going on? The score didn't reflect that. Then, of course, a missed kick, and away we go. Paris was burning. The World Cup is here. We are counting down. Very excited to have Rebecca Lowe. And we, of course, have OTAs and all sorts of things happening as well. We'll hit on a bit of everything. Let's start with the NBA Finals. I just saw Run It Back leaving the studio, and I go, oh, the Spurs won? They take down the Thunder to win the Western Conference. That was over the weekend. The Finals will tip off on Wednesday. So let's take a look here. The Spurs, pretty heavy favorites to get it done at 205 minus 205. Okay, Wemby the fave. That makes sense. Finals MVP. That's where I'd put my money. Okay, interesting. These next 3 guys in those Finals MVP odds, they're all Knicks. It's a little interesting to me. Okay, let's not forget the Spurs were all the way down at plus 550 to win it all after Game 5 OKC. So if you got in on that point, great call by you. And I'd like to see some bet slips, guys. Send them on over. FanDuel has some fun things coming up in a bit, which we will get to in the NFL world. We'll take your questions, by the way, for Rebecca Lowe. Could you send me the link, the show link? I'm still somehow on Clint Dempsey on here. I don't understand. It's not. I'm having some tech issues. But if you guys have questions for Rebecca Lowe or for Will Howard, who's really been put under a microscope so far this offseason with OTAs. Of course, they draft Drew Aller. I was there in Pittsburgh for the draft and saw it. But Will Howard's like the fan fave. Everyone wants to see Will Howard do his thing. So very excited about that. In the NFL world, you know what day it is. June 1st. Bueller. Is this A.J. Brown trade happening? And it can go down today after 4 p.m. And I hope it does, because I'm sick of it. All signs still pointing to the Patriots as a landing spot. We have heard rumors, a little speculation around the Chiefs and Jags as well. I'm so ready for this to be over, so hopefully it does happen and we can all move on. Will it change how we look at New England? I think yes, but I don't know that anybody sees them as they go back-to-back contender a la PSG. I don't see it. I don't see it even with A.J. Brown, but I would love it for Drake May, of course, and it would increase his MVP odds. Probably won't increase his odds to be the Madden cover boy, which Matthew Hamilton, I had such a wrong read from Sean Alexander on that. Sean Alexander was the cover boy on Madden, came on the show. We gave some of the names that we were thinking would be the cover boy for Madden. And he said, oh, I didn't call, I didn't know. And I said, oh, that means that he already knows who it is. And he is lying to me. And it's clearly like JSN, and he doesn't want to get in trouble. But the only name he didn't mention was Caleb. So I stand by the fact that Sean Alexander knows and knew who it would be all along. And I don't know why I had such a dumb read on that. Because of course it's going to be the guy he just doesn't even mention. Of course it's going to be Caleb. As it's not 100% accurate, but that's the leak as of now.
Yeah, still waiting on the official confirmation from EA, but I mean, it's hard to think of a better choice when you look at the sensation that he was last year, the highlight plays, all of it, the buzz that, I mean, just look at the cover alone.
But this could easily be AI, right? Isn't that the world I'm living in?
That's the thing. You can't trust anything until it's officially announced.
Where was that leaked?
Yeah. I saw it on Twitter, and like major accounts are picking it up and saying it, but we still don't have the official word from EA. Like Underdog and Sleeper and like all those. Like
nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't buy it.
No.
Don't buy it. All right. Thanks, Hamilton. The Jags rumors. Let's get to this. There's a lot of clips from OTAs going on here, and we like Gladstone. He's never been on the show. We, of course, went down there for training camp last year for the very first time and had a feeling about this team. They had a great season, and I do feel like they are the least talked about 13-win team ever. They're playing overseas, as they are always, I think twice or three times. Their Jags are doing like a little Celine Dion residency across the pond. This is not a one-year wonder, everybody. I just want to put some love. Yes, it's the offseason. We're starting with the Jags here for some reason. Liam Cohen is building something special. He's got some continuity here. And Trevor and he vibe. They just do. They like each other. They are getting the best out of each other. And I know that first-round exit against the Bills was a letdown. And it's up. They can't quite get there. In the AFC, it's super hard. And I do like the Texans. I'd like the Texans to go to the Super Bowl this year, I do. But this was a team that won 8 straight games to end the season. They beat the #1 seed Broncos in the process. And they did it all without their #2 overall pick, Travis Hunter, who I think is going to have a breakout sophomore season. But the Trevor part of this is what makes it exciting and what makes it sustainable and easy for me to say they're going to be good and even better. In case you forgot, over the second half of the season, he was as good as any quarterback in the entire league. Over the final 8 games, he was 8-0. The Jags were the highest scoring offense in the NFL. Trevor led the league in touchdowns, ranked 2nd passer rating. And you could just see the confidence oozing out of him. He was in complete control of that offense, and there's no reason to think it's not only going to get better as he continues to sort of hone in and master it in year 2. Brian Thomas Jr., we need a bounce back from him. He was not traded, probably heard the trade rumors, though, and like is feeling a little way about it. We can agree. Travis Hunter, the most anticlimactic rookie year of all time, I feel like. We didn't get anything of what we built it up to be. Not that we didn't get anything, but I think there's a lot further to go for him. By the way, if you look at the odds, there's currently plus odds to win double-digit games this year. Okay, their line's 9.5, nearly even to make the playoffs. Well, plus 165. They're behind the Texans, okay? Plus 12 to win the AFC, 9th longest there. None of that's off the table for me. I think I'm buying stock in what is going on with the Jags this season. We're going to switch gears and just hit it all here. We had MMA last week with Ronda Rousey. We've got the World Cup kicking off and counting down here on the show and all across the world. It's 10 days away. And every day I want to kind of like hone in on something that you should be thinking about as the World Cup approaches. And let's do it. It's just for kicks. Here's some predictions. Yeah, I have for 2026, 10 days away from the World Cup. If you look at the World Cup odds, Spain, they're a little banged up right now, all right? Lamine, when are you getting on the field? They're still the favorite. I'm fine with that, but they are a little banged up to start. I think that matters. Rebecca Lowe will straighten me out here in a minute. But they're followed by France, England, Brazil, and then Argentina. I do think if I was to pick a sleeper team that is not on here, okay, I'm going to go with Norway. It's the first one that came into my head when I was asked the question of who's a sleeper team, and here's why. They have obviously a transcendent superstar. Feels low-hanging to bring him up in Erling Haaland. But they're loaded with talent. It's not just him. They've got the Arsenal captain who's feeling himself, probably feels motivated. That's what Henry said after this loss to PSG. I don't know. I feel like they've got other dudes. 6'5" forward Alexander Sorloth. Don't know much about him. Oscar Bob, I've read good things about. And there's some chemistry there because he's friends with Haaland. They play on Man City together. This group has been on fire the last year plus, okay? Since the start of 2025. It's almost impossible to be as physically dominant as they have been in the World Cup qualifiers. Now, we can argue over whether or not that matters, but Norway won 8 straight matches. They outscored competition 37-5 is what I want to highlight. That's pretty dominant, okay, even if it is a qualifier. And, of course, this is like the goal-scoring machine on the right, 16, 3 assists in the process. Now, the level of competition, of course, not on par with what they're going to see at the World Cup, but I don't know. Even though they might be in the toughest individual group in the World Cup, they've got France and Senegal and Iraq with the welcome wagon to the World Cup in the toughest fashion possible. Sorry, Iraq. I like the potential path for them. If they win the group, they face a third-place team from one or the others. They're not going to win the group, so that's out of the question here. If they finish second, which is possible, they face the second-place team from Group E between Germany, Ivory Coast, Curacao, and Ecuador. That's not that bad. If we look at it right now, Norway favored to reach the round of 16. They are getting plus odds on everything past that. So I feel like they're built to make a run unheralded, and they're going to kick things off in Foxborough 2 weeks from now against Iraq. They're going to win that match. They're feeling themselves. They win together, and I like them a lot. They're my sleeper team that's not on the list of favorites for World Cup, even though they have that tough group. Okay, tough group of quarterbacks in that QB room with the Steelers, but a fun one, I'm sure. Will Howard beat Drew Aller back in college? We're going to talk about it after this. You guys can slate. Next guest, a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, CFP national champion. Why haven't I talked to you in forever, Will? Where you been, Will?
I was going to say, it's been a while. How you doing, Kay?
I'm great. You feel like you've been hiding from me, and now I feel like you're the most, you were the most talked about quarterback in the National Football League. Things are a little weird about what people are really like. I feel like you can't change like your face, your eyebrow. You can't make a face. Like, what does that feel like? And you know what I'm talking about. Everything's being discussed right now.
Yeah, no, everything's being watched, and you understand, especially when you play for a cornerstone franchise in the NFL like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, everything you do is going to be watched, especially at the quarterback position. And you talk about all the time, the quarterback is one of the hardest positions and one of the most important positions in sports. And it's an honor to even be on the Pittsburgh Steelers and be on the roster. And but you have to understand that the responsibility that it comes with, but it makes it fun. And I love, representing the Steelers and representing the black and gold. It's just been a lot of fun for me. And
we're going to get into a little bit of that. I'm not watching this throwing motion. We can get into just the technique and the dynamics.
Yeah.
I watched your beer chugging, though, a million times. That's the kind of tape I'm interested in watching. This is you and Luke Combs shotgunning beers. I mean, what was this like?
I mean, that was so cool. I was actually in Columbus the week before, and they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, you want to come back out?" I was like, I was just there. They were like, "Well, Luke wants you to come up on stage with him and shotgun a beer." I was like, "Tell me what time, and I'll be there." Like, that was such a cool event, and like I think there was 97,000 people in the shoe that day.
Wow.
So yeah, I got to show off my shotgun in a little bit. Some off-season stuff. It was fun.
Wait, but you got to be with Sonny Styles and Carnell Tate, which I loved so much. What did you guys talk about as far as the NFL? Did they ask you questions? What was that like?
It was cool. Actually, I had seen them on Wednesday because, with the draft being here in Pittsburgh, I was with them. We were all at an event with Players Tribune on Wednesday night. So I got to talk to them and, just figure out how they were feeling going into the weekend. And, I knew that most of all the Ohio State guys were going to be going pretty high, especially the ones that were here. So they were just kind of gearing up. I didn't know where they were going to end up. And it was just so cool to watch them, all my boys, those guys that, you put the sweat and tears in with, seeing them achieve their goals, making it to the NFL. And obviously the work hasn't really started yet. It's just the start for all those guys. But such a cool event, being able to have it here in Pittsburgh. And then, I don't think Carnell had any plans of being at that concert at all. And I just ran into him I was going into my apartment building that we were staying in. And he was outside grabbing DoorDash, and I was like, "Yo, you want to come to this concert?"
Are you
kidding? He was like, "Sure." Yeah, so he came.
I'm trying to think, what does it say about Carnell, who you connected with for 700 yards last time you were on the field? What does that say about Carnell that he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go"?
Yeah, he was just like, "Hey, man, I just want to hang out with the guys," and I think it was his last night in Columbus, so he's like, "I might as well." And he's not really a country music guy. I don't know how much Luke Combs he listened to, but it was really cool. It was fun to just go out there and do that with the guys, man. And obviously having Zach out there too was pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved that. Zach, and now Carnell gets to hang out with Cam. I'm sure he's very excited about that. He's the winner of the Carnell Tate sweepstakes. Let's get back to this weird Twitter stuff. Okay, I want you to explain to me. I feel like you're like Will side by side Howard. It's like you versus you versus last year, you and Drew, you and Aaron, all these things. Everyone's watching closely every throw. You understand why, which I really appreciate. But let's talk about the throwing motion, okay? Look, it does look a little bit different this year.
Yeah.
Have you changed? What have you changed about your mechanics?
I think the biggest thing coming out of college was, using my body. And I feel like a knock on me coming out of the draft was arm strength and stuff like that. And, that was one thing that I've really just in the last 2 years, in the off season with my quarterback coach. And then now with Coach McCarthy and Coach Arth, one of the things that we've been working on a lot is just keeping my cleats in the ground, utilizing all the ground force that I possibly can. And, really just refining my mechanics and shoring some things up, because you can always get better. You can always, get your feet a little better. You can always get your motion a little better. I wouldn't say there's one thing that I've necessarily honed in on, but I think I just feel like I've been able to refine my throwing motion, and it's gotten better. And that's a credit to the people that I've worked with. And, I feel really good throwing the ball right now, and just want want to continue to do that.
You didn't mention Aaron Rodgers and any of those influences, but when you watch it, I can kind of see a little bit how much Aaron Rodgers is a part of that refining.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's been great. And, throughout my whole first year, obviously going through, an injury early in the season, I missed out on a lot of that development time. But when I was able to get back into practice, whether it was week 10 or 11 or whatever that was, he was really, really intentional about trying to pour into me and give me all the tips that he possibly could, because that's just the kind of guy he is, man. And we have a great relationship and really a great room. And, he's already started to do that with Drew as well, kind of like he did with me last year. And, he helps Mason, where he needs to. But Mason also has a lot of good knowledge too, that he was able to help me a little bit and help Drew. And we all kind of help each other and make each other better, but we're all competing at the same time. And, it just, it's an iron sharpens iron thing. And I think it's really fun. And at the end of the day, though, I think the most important thing is that we have a good time and we have, great people in that room. And I think it's really exciting to, to do that and to get out there with those guys and compete with them and just make each other better every single day, because at the end of the day, the main goal is helping the Pittsburgh Steelers to win a Super Bowl.
What is, I know you guys haven't started the nitty gritty, but what is the dynamic in that quarterback room? I'm fascinated by it and it's also you're living in a piece of history. We know Aaron's done. And so then there's extra pressure, I'm sure, to get him where he wants to go, to have his beautiful storybook, well-deserved ending as a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He'd love to add to his trophy case, of course, in the lore. And then you have two young cats. You've got a guy who's been there a long time. Does Aaron sit in one place and if I were to walk into that quarterback room, what is the dynamic? What are the rules? What is it like?
Yeah, I don't want to share too much about, what goes on in that room. I think it's we have a great time and we, we like to keep that stuff private, keep what goes on in the room. But, at the end of the day, I think we just have like I said, just a really good group of guys, of human beings. And, we have a good time. We're able to, joke around and tell old stories, and hearing some old stories of Aaron and Mike together is pretty cool.
Tell me that. What's the story that tell me that. What story?
Oh, I mean, they've got ton. I mean, they have 15 years of experience together. So, I mean, whether it's going back and talking about the Super Bowl in 2010 or going back and talking about the NFC Championship and this year or that year, I mean, and both of their recalls, it's pretty crazy. Awesome. The memory is unbelievable. Yeah, but it makes it fun, man. It's just it's a great dynamic. We have a good time and
he loves you.
We're all just making each other better. Yeah.
How come Aaron loves you? How come Aaron loves you so much?
I don't know, man. I'm glad that he's taken a liking to me and I've taken a liking to him. I think at the end of the day is, I'm myself and he's himself. And I think, if you give a guy like Aaron respect, and he's a big respect guy, and I feel like if you show him respect, he'll show you respect back. And I mean, just in all of my experiences with Aaron, he's been so good to me and so good to just everyone on the team. He's one of the best teammates I've ever been around. He's able to be super serious and be locked in and also have a good time and make sure everyone around him's having a good time. And I've tried to learn from that and take that into my own, leadership tool bag, I guess, and just watching the way that he works. I've been able to pick up a lot of different things that he does really well, I think.
What's the thing, just as a human being, knowing that it's his last ride? It almost feels like, if I think if it were me, I'd be like, let me make sure I get this out of this experience. And it's last year there was sort of a question mark looming. What are you really present about making sure that you get out of this last ride with him? One specific thing, what are you, or do you think of it that way, or are you just let's go day by day? Because I would sort of think gosh, let me squeeze something out of this.
It's very true. I mean, and like you said, last year I didn't know if I was going to have 1 year with him. I didn't know if I was going to have 3 years with him. I had no idea. So I kind of looked at last year as I'm going to squeeze every bit of information and every little tip I can out of him. And obviously wanted him to end his career the way he wants to. And I know he wants to go out on top. Obviously don't want to speak for him, but he's a competitive dude, man. And there's a reason he's coming back, and that's to win. And I just know the way he's wired. So I'm excited for him to hopefully go out on top, man, and really go into this last year. And I know he's going to pour everything into it that he has, because that's the way he does things. And, you know, obviously I don't want to speak for him, but I'm excited for this last ride with him, and to really just soak up every bit of information and, you know, just time with him, you know, also because, you know, I feel like we have a good friendship, and, you know, we have a great time together. So, you know, something to continue to foster. And I just want to make sure that I can take something, you know, down the line if I'm ever fortunate enough to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers, and, you know, or for whoever. I want to, you know, take one little thing from Aaron every single day. That's kind of my goal. And, you know, whether it's from Aaron, from Coach, from Mason, whoever it is, you know, I just want to learn one new thing every day. I love kind of going into every day with that mindset.
And we were joking a little bit about sort of the attention that you're getting, that this whole quarterback room is getting. It's a beautiful opportunity for you, but also like wild competition. I'm curious how you're approaching that every day. Like, is it the quarterback 2 job is mine? You know, I have the world to inherit. Aaron's gone after this year, or is it I'm just trying to make the roster? What is the approach by you?
For me, I think, you know, when you get caught up in all that, you know, outside noise, like, I'm a process-driven guy. Like, I take things day by day, and my goal every single day is to be the best version of myself and to get better. And if I'm getting better every single day, then I'm doing something right, and I feel like I'm on the right track. And, you know, I try to not get too big picture minded. Nobody, you know, we're not listening to the outside noise. We're just trying to make the Pittsburgh Steelers and make each other better every single day. And I think that's the mindset I try to take on. And I don't want to speak for everybody else, but it seems like, you know, in our room, that's what everyone's trying to do. We're just trying to get better, have a good time, you know, play some ball, and you know, make the Pittsburgh Steelers as successful as we possibly can. It's
perfectly said, and why you do have a bright future. Part of it is just the way you carry yourself and think, but it's got to be gnarly competitive. I want to see these quarterbacks again. Aaron Rodgers, you're wearing this hat, right? I got one too. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
You're a golf guy. Okay, you're partnering with Bank of America to host a Golf With Us clinic in Pittsburgh. But I want to see those quarterbacks before we get into what this even is. I want you to rank your quarterback room, best to worst golfer.
In terms of golfers?
Yeah.
Man, it's tough because I've actually never seen Mason golf. I've never seen Drew golf, but I have seen Aaron golf. Aaron's definitely number one.
Okay.
You know, I'd love to say I'm better than him, but I'm not. I'm getting there. I just got my first set of like custom clubs, so I'm really trying to dial in my game.
Real.
I'm doing this thing with Bank of America. Like, this is the year. I'm really, you know, I feel like when you're an NFL quarterback, you also have to be a golfer. You have to be pretty good at golf, at least respectable. So I'd say Aaron 1. I'd go myself 2.
Let's
I don't know.
Go,
I mean, I've never
QB2,
seen the other guys.
baby!
I'd say myself 2 in terms of golf, obviously. And then, you know, I don't know. I guess Mason and Drew, I've never seen them, so I can't speak on it.
We don't care about them. You're at the end of the roster when it comes to golf. I love that. What are you doing with the Golf With Us clinic in Pittsburgh?
Oh, it's going to be a really fun night. We're bringing some kids out, and you know, we're partnering with Bank of America. I think it's 160 plus kids that are coming out there to you know, golf for the first time. And I remember when I was first introduced to golf as a young kid, I didn't really understand it, didn't really know how to do it, and I kind of picked it up over time, but nobody really ever took the time to teach me how to play golf. I kind of just picked it up myself. But you know, having these kids come out and me being able to be there, and then obviously having some great golf instructors to kind of start them on their journey of playing golf, because it's such a fun, powerful game, and you know, I think it's something you can play for the rest of your life.
Parents can enroll their kids. There's a free membership at bofa.com/golfwithus. You got to do it before June 15th. The second best quarterback on the Steelers. Kidding. At golf. Calm down, everybody. Thank you so much, Will Howard, for your time. Don't just go kick butt at this. Just go do whatever it is that you need to do to get where you want to be. Good luck. I wish you luck, of course, as always. Appreciate you, Will Howard. Thanks for the swag. Great seeing you, too. Up next, Fox Sports World Cup host. What a dream, Rebecca Lowe on the show. Oh, Will Howard. I don't know what more he could have said. You know, what a wild, it's a wild situation. But you do have a new coach, so it's like, and I see he's getting second team reps in OTAs. sometimes at least a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think
It must have felt like a punch in the stomach when they drafted Drew. That's it. Like, I don't care. It's the most human thing in the entire world. Like, he could be the quarterback too, and he can get cut from the roster. How often do we see that?
Like being the quarterback too, like at this stage, you're saying?
He could get cut in training camp. No joke. Cut.
Yeah.
6th round pick?
Yeah.
Cut. Practice squad. He could not be on the team. He knows that. There's 4 guys. They'll carry 4 into camp, but they've got the old goat there. Mason was the backup last year. Neither him or Drew have played a snap. Drew, a higher draft pick, he could do that, or he could straight up be the backup quarterback and inherit the earth. The kingdom is yours, Lion King, Mufasa, Simba. How often do you see that?
I mean, this is, I don't know. This is pretty much an unprecedented situation, I think, the dynamic in that room. Yeah, because you don't have that clear successor that they've set themselves up with. I think they they brought in well for a reason.
Die.
Yeah.
You see what happened in Paris with PSG, burning. Pittsburgh would burn to a crisp if Dracarys, if they don't make Will Howard the man.
Yeah.
I've rarely seen someone who has not played a snap I should have asked him that. Just the swell of support. What does that feel like if you're Will Howard? That must feel awesome. Like you are the favorite in the hearts. There are people who were like, Aaron, don't come back, give it to Will. There was a big percentage of fans who said, greatest all time. We want Will to get his shot. It's a wild dynamic. See how he answers everything correctly, almost in an annoying fashion. Will, I remember when I met him, I came back and I was like, well, I just met Captain America. Remember?
Yeah. That's how you want your quarterback to be if you're a coach, for sure.
Okay, Rebecca Lowe. What are we coming in with? Are we doing a Champions League thing?
Yeah.
Is that? Okay. 10 days to the World Cup. We will talk all things World Cup, I promise. But PSG gets the back-to-back win over Arsenal. Rebecca Lowe, welcome to the show. So much to discuss. Great to see you. And should we start just right there with that win?
Yeah. Absolutely, Kay. First of all, thank you for having me on. I absolutely adore you. For anyone watching who doesn't know, Kay and I go back a long way, nearly 15 years ago when she was at NBC. And I always remember, just real quick, Kay, I always remember this story. Have to tell your viewers and your listeners. I was in makeup one day, you probably don't remember. It was about 12 years ago. And you came and sat next to me. I mean, you were probably about 20. And you were swinging your legs and you were saying to me, can I ask you advice? Can I ask you advice? Like, do you think I do enough prep? I'm doing this amount of prep. And I was like, girl, you're doing enough prep. But what if I need to do more? And you were just, your work ethic stuck out from that day. And I'll never forget it. I was like, this girl's got everything. She is going to go all the way. Rebecca. And I was proven true. Yeah, anyway.
I remember those chats that we would have, and I loved all of it. And I just loved how open you were and how willing you were to stop everything and have a conversation with me. And it's something that has carried me through, and I appreciate you so much. And I'm just, before we get to Arsenal and PSG, like this is, and you've been you were a part of World Cup in, I think, 2006. As a reporter for BBC.
Yes.
But Rebecca, you're hosting. You are hosting the World Cup. Can we just talk about what that means for you on a personal level?
It's the ultimate. It's the pinnacle of my entire career, Kay. Of that, there is no doubt. I mean, to do something that I never thought I'd ever get the chance to do, mainly because it's on Fox and I'm on NBC. So that's a whole situation that had to be sorted out. But I just never thought I'd ever get the chance to host a World Cup in what is now my home country, because now I'm an American citizen. It's everything I ever wanted, and it's happening in a week's time. And It's not 10 minutes now goes by. I've known about it for over a year, and I think about it every day. But now it's every few minutes, and it's a little overwhelming. I have a lot of emotions, lots of different emotions. But this is it. This is everything, Kay. Everything.
I was in we have like our morning production meeting. No, I know. And I was sitting there and I was like, really not like 22 she didn't and this. And can you share a little bit of how this was able to happen? Like, was it like did you have the feeling of like, I don't think it's going to happen? Like, take me through a little bit of that.
I had no idea it was going to happen. I haven't done, like you say, I was a reporter at the 2006 World Cup. And then the problem is in soccer, and I don't know how similar it is in NFL and other American sports, but you don't really switch networks. And if you're at a network where they don't have the rights to that World Cup, you have no chance of doing it. So 2010 World Cup, I was working in ESPN in the UK. 2014, I was over here at NBC. 2018, I was at NBC. 2022, I was at NBC. And what happened was, Sam Flood, the boss at NBC, it was last April, so April of 2025, he walked in the studio during a normal Sunday on the Premier League, which is not too unusual. Like, Sam will come in sometimes and talk to us, just say a quick hi, and he'll go about his day. Well, on this particular day, he was standing next to me. We'd had our 5-minute chat, and he just turned to me and he said, "Have you got a minute?" At which point I was like,
of course. No. We need to talk. It's always scary.
We need to talk. And he said, "Just turn off your microphone." Okay, now I really am in massive trouble. And he took me to the other side of the studio, and I thought, well, if he's going to fire me, because it went through my head, if he is going to fire me, is he really going to fire me halfway through a show in front of my co-workers while I'm like in my outfit? And he's just said to me, "We had a call from Fox this week, from Brad Zager, and they would like you to host the World Cup, and we have said yes, so if you want to do it." And honestly, Kat, I thought, you're winding me up. There is no way, because I didn't ask to do it.
Wow.
I was just going to have a summer off. And he said, "So if you'd like to do it, go ahead." And he said, "Unless you have a vacation plan for the summer of 2026. And I said, "I'm sorry, if I had a vacation planned, there would be a cancellation situation happening immediately." So that was how it happened. That was April of 2025. I got to speak to Fox the following week, signed with them last summer, and then it was announced in December. And now we're a week away. And it's here. Oh, my God.
It's here. There's so many storylines. I'm so curious. I saw that it was you and Zlatonovic, right? Or who was it?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, yes. Thierry Henry.
Zlatonovic, I made it one name. It's you and Henry. Is it the three of you together the whole time?
I think it's going to be a little bit of a crew. So it's going to be me, Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Alexi Lalas doing most of we're together most of the time. And then there'll be a little bit of change around when certain people need days off, because, there are 4 games a day for about 27 straight days. It's insane. I think I have 2 days off in 27 days. But we're not complaining, because this is the peak of life.
So it's going to be, I want you to call him Zlatonovic, just because I just penned. It is quicker. It's a little quicker.
Much quicker.
What were the texts like, or the group? I'll ask you about. I have a million questions about this. What was the first Zoom like then, with my guy Zlatonovic and Henry, and then after? I mean, his Arsenal squad or PSG. Like, what were the texts like, or the group chat like to Thierry?
No group chat yet.
Okay.
I don't want to be,
I agree.
What we say in England, I don't want to be busy, where you're like, can we do a group chat and just like throw people in the group chat? Like, there's nothing I hate more in life than being thrown into a group chat.
I love
that I wasn't okay to be in. I just don't want to be part of group chats as much as I can, because the phone is so busy anyway. So no group chat, yes, and I will not be instigating one. If they want to, I'm all in, but I'm not going to instigate it. But we met for the first time, and I've met Thierry before, but we met Zlatan, Thierry, everybody, the whole Fox Sports did a huge seminar at the end of March. Everybody met up there, and it was, what was great? We had a photo shoot, and Zlatan was giving Thierry, ribbing him, and then Thierry was giving Alexi some, and Alexi was giving Zlatan some, and I was like, this is going to be a good summer. Now I've just got to control the 3 of them, because they've all got a lot to say. Zlatan has never done television, Kay, before. He's been interviewed on the side, but he's never done studio, IFB in your ear, being told that you've got 10 seconds to go. He's never done it. So I'm ready to be, Zlatan, you got to stop. We got to get to commercial. Stop. So it's good, because he has a lot to say and a huge personality. And so does Alexi Lalas, and so does Thierry Henry. So that's going to be a challenge for me.
He's going to be a star, though. He's must-see TV. You can't turn it off. Every time I saw him recently, he was hanging out with Tom Brady. So it was a crossover of your sport and mine. And I could tell Tom was like, off kilter a little bit because Zlatanovich just does whatever comes to mind. He's a bit of a wild card in the best way possible. And I can't wait. You're sort of, so you don't have much time off. You're so excited. Has somebody ever covered the Olympics and a World Cup in 1 year?
Oh my God.
I don't think so. I think you might be the only person. That's incredible. How is it unique? How is it unique to prepare for a World Cup compared to something like the Olympics or one of the other things that you've done?
Yeah, the problem with this World Cup, Kay, is it's so big. So it used to be 32 teams, now it's 48. And I'm so old-fashioned as well on pen and paper. I've got it here because I've still got to, I'm starting to do it. So I've done 10 groups out of the 12, and I've still got 2 groups to go. And this is just basic. Like, this will come on the set with me. This is just a page per team, a page per country, and it's just high-level basic storylines just so I have something there. It's really about, you know what the Olympics is like? You know that your audience doesn't know everything about skateboarding or doesn't know everything about big air or even downhill skiing. You don't have to know everything about Jordan, Uzbekistan, Cape Verde. I'm just flicking through here, Haiti. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know the interesting things, the things that might capture the imagination. You know, Haiti haven't been at a World Cup since 1974, for example. Those kind of things capture the imagination. Then the big countries, you have to know a lot more. So I'm doing a lot of podcasts listening. I probably listen to 4 podcasts a day, at least, every day. Lots of dog walks over here. Just soaking in like a sponge, like all about all of that prep just to try to make sure I'm across absolutely everything. But in my role, as you know, Kay, it's different from a play-by-play. I don't have to know those intricate, tactical. I don't have to know how many goals they've scored, sure, but I don't have to have that intricacy. Oh, he's played 10 games at right back and now he's going to play 1 at left back. No one cares. What they care about is that the star striker is Erling Haaland and he's had 25 goals for the season, for example. So I just need to just listen to everything, read as much as I can, and that's what I've always done. That's what I'll always do. And I'll over-prepare because that's me. I'll use hardly any of it, but I'll feel in control when I go on air, and that's the most important thing.
Yes, and I feel like part of what makes me love watching you is your enthusiasm for it as well. There's just a love for the storylines and the sport. I remember back at NBC when Premier League was launching, like, you guys would have your tea, and it was very like, it was like 4 a.m. on some of those mornings. And, and
every
let's
weekend.
Get into it. Yes, and it was just this this atmosphere, really like enthusiasm and love of the game, which you have in spades, I believe. So I'm going to ask you, in that notebook or on your podcast walks, what is the one storyline that you cannot wait to get the answer to here in the World Cup? And I know it's a tough question because there's so many.
There's so many, but I have to go with Team USA. I have to get, and they're not called Team USA. I need to get away from the Olympics jargon. They're called the US men's national team. That's, for me, the really interesting story. I'm asked all the time in interviews, Kay, who's your dark horse? Who do you think might do well that we're not expecting to do well? And I actually think that the US men's national team could be a bit of a dark horse. I watched them play Senegal yesterday. Christian Pulisic got a goal and an assist. They look like they're very together. The manager, Mauricio Pochettino, is excellent, proven at the top level. This country now, having lived here for 13 years, has such power in its in every aspect, whether it's the amount of people here, whether it's the way that people love sport, whether it's the marketing, advertising. If the USA can beat Paraguay in that opening game, which is in less than 2 weeks' time, which they absolutely should, and they, in my opinion, must, the following wind in this country, I think is going to be unlike anything any of us have ever seen, bigger than 1994 because social media and all those things now. I think I think the United States men's national team is the story that I'm most interested in, because are they going to be able to channel and harness the pressure, the expectation and the excitement in this country, or are they going to buckle? That's what I want to see.
And it's so much pressure being now you're on board. I'm sort of like undersell, over deliver. So I'm sort of, when I have Landon or Clint Dempsey came on, and Clint Dempsey mentioned semis to me, and I'm like, whoa. Alexei, your cohort, he's really high on Pulisic, and Landon's come on and said the same thing. How hype am I allowed to be about this national team? Should I be, I guess, all in? And then I'll ask you from yesterday, like watching Pepe and Pulisic, I'm like, okay, attack. The defense, we can do better, but but the offense is almost as good as the defense is not good. So maybe it'll balance out. How important was it, maybe I'll ask you, that Pulisic got that monkey off his back and got a goal going into this?
Crucial. Pulisic, I think, gets in his head a little bit, and having had no goal in anywhere in 2026, let alone for the US men's national team, which was over a year ago, more than that, that was massive. Plus, it was a brilliant goal. And sometimes in football, a little tap-in is really important to get the monkey off the back. But a brilliant goal, that can take the confidence up another level. And it was a brilliant assist and then a brilliant goal. The defence, you're spot on. I'm worried. I'm not sure if they can do better. We have a 38-year-old, I say we. The United States have a 38-year-old in Tim Ream who is clearly going to play matches because he's been given the captain's armband. And you don't in football give a captain's armband on the whole, especially not at a World Cup, if you're not going to play a lot of football. He concerns me because he's 38. Really good reader of the game, but he's still 38. And against Senegal, who are lower in the rankings, higher in the rankings, but not by that much. When he starts playing against the Frances and the Spains and the Argentinas, if the United States get there, then I am very concerned about that. Chris Richards was injured yesterday, didn't play. He's a brilliant centre-half, and he'll play in that 3 at the back. So he'll be coming back, hopefully, in time for the first game. Your expectations, Kay? If you don't reach the quarterfinals, I think it's failure.
Wow. Yeah. Nice group for them, nice path, a little
nice
home
group.
field, which can be increased pressure. As we've heard, that playing in front of your home crowd is fun until you're playing in front of your home crowd with all of that. That is so exciting to even think about. And it was, and I think just the opportunity, like not just for the USA part, what it means for soccer in this country going forward, what Landon did for that in the youth level and all of that, the interest, my nephews, my nieces, your kids, like the excitement of that. That's what's at stake, I think, in this World Cup for the U.S. in a big way as well. And I even watching the game this weekend, I was on the border of, do I want to fly to Chicago where I live, where my dad is, and take him to this Germany friendly? Like it's just, and the second I saw it, I said, I'm going. I'm not joking. I woke up this morning like, no, I have to go. I'm booking my ticket. And I'm going. Another storyline, and I don't know if you have this the way that we have this in the NFL. I get a little bit emotional when I see like a Tom Brady retire or Aaron Rodgers decide this is his last year. And a big storyline, I think, is this idea of like, how much is Neymar going to play? Is this his last one? Messi, he could probably play another one, but is it his? Ronaldo? Is this the last ride for these sort of icons and staples in the sport? What is that like for you?
The honour of being able to, all of us, watch these players in the last 20 years must never be understated. 3 of the best players who have ever played the game. Messi, it's impossible for somebody like me or anyone really, unless you're old enough to have seen Pelé and you're old enough to have seen Maradona, to really compare Messi to those two accurately, because watching them on television in clips and black and white with terrible fields from back in the day is really difficult to compare. But of course, in my generation, Messi is the greatest of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo not far behind. To be able to, first of all, for me to be able to see them in real life, in flesh, and hopefully in the later stages when we go out and about to the stadiums, is going to be an absolute privilege and a bucket list situation. I don't think they'll come back. Neymar definitely won't, the next World Cup. The other two are going to be, 45 and 43? You can't be playing football at the World Cup when you're 43. I'm 45, Kate. I mean, everything hurts when I get out of bed. And I know I'm not Messi by any stretch of the imagination. I can't imagine there'll be 42, 43 and 44, 45. This has to be it for them. And even they are bionic, but this has to be it for them. So it's going to be super sad, but there's going to be other ones. There's going to be other ones. Maybe not. I mean, Lamine Yamal is the one we're looking at, who plays for Spain, as I'm sure you know. He is the next great player. And there'll be other ones that will come out. So, of course, we still look back at Maradona. We still look back at Pelé. We still look back at those Beckenbauers and all those amazing footballers from down the years, and we'll always love them, just like we will with Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. But there'll be other ones to get excited about. We're not going to go to the next World Cup and be like, there's nobody fun to watch. That's not going to happen.
Really beautifully said. I think it's important as a fan, anybody watching, even as a casual, to realize you're watching that history then. Yeah. And it makes this World Cup, I do believe, a little bit more meaningful. Not to mention what's possible. Messi winning back-to-back World Cups would bring the house down. Ronaldo winning his first. Sort of, I think Ronaldo's probably a little complicated, right? Historically, just like he's polarizing, whatever that is, you covering him. What do you think would be more important to their legacy? Messi winning another one or Ronaldo winning one?
Cristiano Ronaldo winning one. Absolutely has to be. First of all, if he does, first of all, could you imagine if it was a Argentina-Portugal final?
Quarterfinal, final, let's go!
Let's go. But if Cristiano Ronaldo does win it, it will reignite the conversation, the never-ending conversation that kind of ended in 2022 of who is the best footballer, right? Is it Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi? And Messi had won that because he's won the World Cup. If Cristiano does, he will be telling everybody it is him. This Portugal team is really good. This Portugal team is as good, if not better, than the Argentina team. I think possibly Cristiano has a better chance than Messi, but Cristiano is the last thing. It's the last thing for him to win. He, out of the two, he's more likely to play in 4 years, and yet he's a couple of years older, just because of the way he looks after himself, as everybody will know. But it is crucial. It isn't crucial to us that he wins a World Cup for the way that he's viewed, but it's crucial to him for sure.
Knowing him as well as you do and covering him, hearing some of these ideas that he's a liability, that Portugal's a stronger roster without him, what does that do to someone like Ronaldo?
He won't care two hoots. He won't care about any of the noise. He will not care at all about any of the noise around him. All he'll care about is whether or not he starts. And that then becomes the problem for the rest of the team, because all the story is he going to start games? And if he's not starting games, the camera goes on him on the bench every stinking 3 minutes. Is he coming on? Is he warming up? He's warming up. He's warming up. Is he coming on? He's coming on. And then it becomes the story. And then that's not great if you're the rest of the team. And this isn't a team that's coming here thinking it's going to get maybe quarterfinals. This is a team in Portugal who have arguably the best midfield at the World Cup. They are coming to win the World Cup. It cannot be a circus about Cristiano Ronaldo. He has to try and realise that it isn't just all about him as much as it's all about him. He has to realise that the rest of the team now are way better than they were 10 years ago when it really was all about him. He has, and let's see if I think he's got it in him to be a team player. Just about. I think he's got it. He's definitely got it in him for the sole reason that he knows Portugal could win this. And to do that, he may not play every minute. And I think he's probably realised that he's just about going to have to accept that.
One last interesting figure, I think, is Mbappe in this, that he leaves PSG, he watches them win back-to-back. Their team is so loaded, you almost think if it doesn't make sense if you don't go and win it with how great they all looked. Do you think that they're appropriately rated and being talked about as the favorites? Do you think, just him coming off of this, I know Arsenal, obviously motivated, worlds ahead of them in that world, but as far as this World Cup is concerned, and Mbappe as somebody who he was right there, it was stolen from him last time, to Argentina, like what is the vibe around Mbappe going into this?
I mean, just imagine scoring a hat-trick in a World Cup final and not winning the cup. Is that like scoring 10 touchdowns in a Super Bowl, not winning the Super Bowl?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I have no idea if it's like that, but it's insane. He's such a joy to watch. And he's had a troubled situation at Real Madrid. And that continues to be the case with petitions being signed for him to leave the club. And as you say, Kay, leaving PSG, his hometown club, and now they've won 2 back-to-back Champions League. It's just
awful.
Horrible for him. It will all be made better if he can win the World Cup for a second time. Of course, he burst onto the scene in 2018, and everything will be small fry if they can win this World Cup. I think they're favourites. They're my tip to win it for sure. Spain are excellent. Spain are up there for me. Argentina are up there, although back-to-back's really difficult. Hasn't been done since the 50s, 60s. Portugal are up there. England, of course, are up there. And there'll be another team as well. I'm not sure Brazil can do it, but I do think that France, for me, are the favourites.
Agreed.
They would assume to be favourites. They've just got to get past Spain at some stage.
Spain's a little banged up to start. Even Lamine Yamal, Mr. Dribble. So
he is.
I like France.
He's going to be fine. He's a kid. I mean, he's quite literally a kid, and we all know how quickly you can recover.
Yes,
and this is his stage. He's a big game player. He's going to be fine, even if he doesn't play the first game. Spain, because of the expanded format, it's a slightly different way. They're going to get out of the group. At least 2, usually 3 out of every group are going to get to the round of 32. So Spain have no trouble at all, and even without him, they're great.
Well, before you go, after the whistle, season 3, congratulations.
Thank you.
You and Brendan Hunt, Mr. Beard, Coach Beard. How freeing is that for you? How wonderful and delightful is it to do that podcast?
That's exactly what it is. But, it's all about him. When he first came to NBC, which was when you were there, back in 2014 was when we first did our Ted Lasso skit, which was the second skit. And he turned up, and him and Jason Sudeikis. And the genius in these people, you know, you watch people on stand-up comedy shows or sitcoms or movies, and you obviously think they're good, but until you actually sort of see it in the flesh, Kay, and sort of see them at work, oh my God, the genius is amazing. The ad-lib ability, the comedy, obviously. So doing the podcast with Brendan is so freeing because he is so naturally hilarious, and we somehow vibe really well in that we sort of, I don't know what it is, because we've only ever met in real life about 5 times, which is our running joke, but we just seem to kind of work off each other. We have similar senses of humor, although he's hysterical, and he just makes it easy for me. He makes it easy for me. He also has an unbelievable amount of knowledge and an unbelievable amount of passion, and it's just a joy. It's an absolute joy. How I'm going to squeeze it in over the next 2 months, not quite sure, but you will get it somewhere. I'll be somewhere around the country in the back of a bus just doing my podcast. But no, what a joy that is. And yeah, we're excited to do season 3. Really excited.
Do you have a cameo in Ted Lasso?
Did you read that?
I got a text about it. You may or may not.
Oh, okay. Well, if you got a text about it, maybe it's sure.
Well, I wanted to ask, like, why haven't you been in Ted Lasso? Coach, Brendan, get her. And so maybe, who knows, you'll have to watch. You'll have to watch that, season 3. And season 3.
Season 3, season 4.
After the Whistle, which is back June 7th on Apple or wherever you get your podcast. Good luck on Fox. I cannot wait to watch you. And everyone now knows the storylines to root for, and certainly to root and cheer you on as you live your dream.
Thank you, Kate, so much. And I just wanted to say once again, what a joy it is to A, be on the show, and B, see you do everything that you do. Honestly, you're an absolute superstar.
Thank you so much, Rebecca Lowe. Yeah, coming from you, I will take it. I will take it and have the best day ever. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much to Rebecca Lowe, to Fox for the time with Rebecca. And now, yeah, I agree. France is going to win it. And I want to see Ronaldo be Messi. We'll be back tomorrow.